Okay, we're going to have some painter doodle time. I'm just going to start having some fun in here and kind of describe what I'm doing, and hopefully that will be helpful to you with some things. I'm just going to open up a blank new canvas, make 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels. I'm running this at 800 by 600, so the capture rate goes well on these monitors, but as you can see, Painter's a little crowded at this screen size, so I'm going to be hiding those palettes quite often. I like sketching with the pens and drawing in Painter a little more than I like drawing outside the computer more than I like drawing inside the computer. But if I have to draw inside the computer, I like Painter because it's a little smoother than Photoshop, I think. So I'm just gonna start sketching away and see what happens. I'm using the pen tool. I have it on flat color right now. The zoom in, zoom out tools are the same as they are in Photoshop. I'm going to go to a smoothing pen because I think I have a very exact pen that I made, and this is probably it. So let's switch to my smoothing pen because that's funner to sketch with. Let's see. Let's switch to. Let's see. Actually, use a fine point. There, it's a little more soft, but you get a lot more variance in it. Hide these palettes again. I'll zoom out. Okay. I have the pressure on. I work with a tablet, so thick, thin I have with pressure, and I also have the line fades out with pressure. With harder I press, in other words, the thicker and darker the line is. I'm just working on a couple eyeballs. Put a little nose and mouth. Give him a little bit of a smile. Throw some hair up here. Be an ear over here. A little bit of the jaw. And the neck. And again, this is just quick sketching. Alright. Let's go ahead and do some painting on top of that. I'm going to go ahead and go into their layers and make a new layer that I'm just going to be coloring on, and then I'll composite things together, kind of smudge things together, but you'll get what I mean. I'm going to have it in multiply mode, like if you've seen listened to the other tutorials in Painter. That's how we usually color on top of line art, and so I'll make sure that it's in multiply mode. Multiply, there we go. Okay. I'm going to close some of these, but I'm going to want my color palette out. And I'm going to go with a brush tool. We'll try a variable round. Get a nice color here. Kind of nice. Let's see. The great thing about Painter is, see that the circle that I'm dragging out? I can hold down the Control and Alt keys and on the fly drag the exact size of the brush that I want. I like that. One day they'll have that in Photoshop. I'm sure they will. Alright, anyway. The other good thing about Painter when you're drawing is, let's say, when you draw, you want to draw with your natural arc. of your hand. And since it's very difficult to turn the page on the computer, they actually have it so you can, on the fly, turn the page and work on it. Bring this back down to normal. Doop. Okay. Alright, so I'm just laying in some flesh color here. And then I'll work on a little bit of a hair color. Again, I'm just blocking in color. Picking that flesh color to finish the ear off. Then I'll start laying in some darker colors. Let's see. Start shaping the face. Kind of deciding where my shadow conditions will be. Make that brush a little smaller. Little shadow underneath that bottom lip. And here, and a little shadow under the hair. Okay. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these layers together so I can start really smudging things together. So I'm going to show my objects, and I'm going to drop all. So now it's all in one layer. Now I'm performing without a safety net. Now you can take any of the tools in Painter and you can make them a smudge tool if you want. I probably have one of these already set up, so let's see what I got going here right now. Variable round. That might be set up as that way already. That was a little too slow. You don't want a brush that's too slow because it's going to slow you down. That's a problem with some of the new Painter brushes. This is Painter 6.1. And a lot of people use this more than any of the newer ones because they kind of, in 7, it got very heavy and slow for some reason. And there's some of the brushes that are really, the key to working in Photoshop or Painter is really finding the brushes that you like and kind of limiting your set of what you do, because you could get way overboard on this program. I just want to adjust my let's see, not show controls, show brush controls. There we go. Okay, so where it says resaturation here in this palette, if I drop that down and make the bleed 100%, then what this brush becomes is a smearing brush. Here I'm taking the black line and I'm shoving it in there with the color. Now again, you can get the same sort of effect with Photoshop, especially with Photoshop 7. It's just I feel a little more comfortable with the way the brush reacts in Painter, but we'll probably do some sketching in Photoshop too, so I'll show you what that does. Okay, so you can see what I'm trying to do now is more or less just shove these kind of pieces together. So I'm going to try and make just this into a little more of a little bit of a painting. Pulling down the hair. And this isn't a regular coloring over line art thing I'm trying to do here. I'm just working on this as more of a painting, so I don't care if I eventually get rid of all my black lines and have them work into it. Made my brush a little smaller. Now it's cool. I can actually go in here if I want to get some more sort of texture and just pull it that way. There's a lot of ways to get textures in Painter. I could use a paper texture. I'm not using a paper texture right now to build up some texture, and maybe we'll mess with that on another piece. But I'm just sort of, and again, I'm not adding any paint here. What I'm taking is I'm just shoving around what I already laid down. Let's see. I'm going to switch brushes. Let's do a smeary round. Again, I'm switching it to bleed. Okay, it's a little bit smoother edge, but I can get some edges out of it, which is what I wanted. Hide these palettes. Again, just quick sketching. That's all we're doing here. Just getting the feel for it. It's really kind of, if I had to say it was similar to any sort of traditional medium, working this way is closer to sort of working in oil paints or pastels, where you can really blend the stuff together. It's not like working in acrylics, that's for sure. You can even get a lot of sort of blending in gouache paint. Anyway, I'm still sort of just finding it. Again, there's no pre-drawing for this. I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants. If you notice you think something is wrong, go ahead and change it. You notice I don't use the undo feature very often. A lot of people will sit there and redo, undo, redo, undo. You know, I think it just kind of, you know, I don't know. I think too much about things as it is. I think you're better off as an artist just sort of going for it, and you know, I'll use it if I mess up in one place. There you go. I can use undo in real life. But you know, I think it just, especially with quick sketching, I think it just hurts you. Okay, so it's beginning to work. I'm going to have to fix that eye. That one eye is a little too far over. But you can see how it's kind of coming together. Kind of working on the hair here, pulling it out. Now I can really, if I want, I mean, I can go really far with this whole thing. Really, I mean, I just as hard as I press and just let go, start giving him some really kind of stylized, crazy kind of hair. Okay, I'm going to shove this eye a little bit more over, because I don't think that's right. Again, we'll make that hair go crazy. Okay. I just full-sized it because I was dragging the window with my strokes. Now normally I would do this first, but I'm going to go ahead and give ourselves some sort of a background to work in, so it's not that pure white that I'm dealing with right now. Let's see, what should I do? There's two ways to do this. I can either go in and start start brushing in something, which is what I would do in a more natural situation. But sometimes I like one of the nice tools they have here is they have a lighting effects, and just kind of use it to give sort of a wash of color over the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and apply lighting. I don't want it to be very harsh. I more or less want it just to kind of give us a value. Let's see. Let's go to the light color and make it a darker. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, now I'll pull back in some of my lights. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Zoom back in. Bring back the palettes. And I'm going to bring back some color, so I'm going to see I'm going to bring the resaturation up and put the bleed at about that. I'm going to start sort of laying in some color back there. Let's see. Switch to a captured bristle. Captured bristle. Thank you very much. Alrighty. Really kind of don't care what's on the bottom. I'm more focusing on this area here. Okay. Switch to another one. Let's go. Smeary Flat's a little bit smoother. So I can kind of smooth out some of the edges with this. I'm going to go back in and start bringing some details back into this that I lost with the other tool. And with a small brush, bring back some of the highlight in the eye and down the bottom. Let me give him a little bit of a edge light here. It's going to hit the nose a little bit as well, and hit the hair. Kind of add a little bit of that color coming into the eyes, a little bit of a reflection going across it. A little bit on the shoulder. Again, some of the hair is getting hit. Okay. I'm picking from the canvas because I'm going to change the size. It's bugging me. It's a little too, I don't know, too anime or something. It's a little too big. Cut it down to size a little bit. Give him some eyebrows, matching the hair color on his head. Okay. Sort of defining the area of the face a little more here. Again, I can lay down some pretty, let's say I just wanted to stroke like that. You're like, oh no, that's all messy on his face. And if I want to go back and use, I put it on a bleed now, so I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. See, I increase the size and a little bit of pressure, just kind of smoothing it out. Okay. So, good thing about the computer is you can really fix most of the stuff on the fly if you want to. That was, I still had a great big brush. Let's make a smaller brush again. A little smaller than that. Went to a smeary round brush because it has a little bit more of an edge. I'm going to go very small with it. I'm just going to get some details, and I'll go back in and smear those out to make myself happy with them. Okay. Add some highlights in the hair too. And I'll add some of those into the eyebrows. Again, kind of still roughing some of these shapes back in here. Get rid of that hard line down there. Okay, now I'll go back in and I'll switch to a variable flat to smooth out these edges. I wanted to keep that crease, so I smeared away from it, not into it. Again, sort of smearing away from the outside edges on these things, or if I want to keep a hard edge, just going up to the hard edge, but not all the way there. If you heard that, I don't know if you did. That was my little boy singing. Alright, smooth out the hair. Again, not really going for a fully finished piece here, just doing a quick sketch to show you some of the capabilities of this program. Smoothing out some stuff. I'm just going to lose that edge in the hair up here. Kind of purposely getting some brushy shapes in here. Lose that shape off, push it off. There we go. And push off, pull off some of this red here. Just kind of smear it off. There's this edge. That looks very sort of pastel-y. And I'm going to just add a couple more highlights and I think I'll be done with this sketch. I'm going to pick from the canvas. I'm going brighter and more saturated, which is that way. And I'm just going to hit in some areas that might be a little bit more. Nose is always a little bit more shiny. Area around the eyes to pick up a little bit of oil. Some of these areas of the forehead. Again, with the idea that I'm going to smooth this out afterwards, or maybe leave the strokiness. I don't know, it's a sketch, so I'd be fine with that too. Okay, I'm going to cool off the shadow condition a little bit. Let's go with desaturated blue. That's too strong. Let's see. Okay. Looks like makeup right now, but I'll try and fix that up. I just want to put it into all the shadow areas just to cool them off, and I'll come back in and blend it. Blending it, blending it, blending it, blending it, blending it. Now you'll notice I haven't saved yet, and I really should, in case something bad happens. So, everybody do as I say, don't do as I do. Alrighty. And I think that's probably enough for a sketch. No, I have a bigger canvas size, but I didn't really mess with that down there because I kind of wasn't interested in messing with it. This is kind of, if I have to crop the piece, I probably crop that piece just like that. Leave some space over here. I'll smear out these a little bit more. I mean, again, the fun part about Painter is just, I mean, just look how fast I can get that. It's really nice. Lose those edges. Ta-da! Okay. Let's save it. Save it as Photoshop in my tutorial directory. Save. Untitled 2. That is now your name. I just wanted to show you, this piece was annoying me after I did it for a while, and I just want to show you how you can fix proportions really quickly in Photoshop. I realized this was a Painter piece, but it will show you kind of how you can use Liquify really quickly. This is a 2-second tutorial. Alright, let's get this thing bigger. And hide those palettes. Let's go ahead and go into Liquify. And this eye, this one right here, bothers me. So I put it on smooth, and I'm just going to shove it in a bit. Actually, the bridge of his nose is a little too much too. See how I can just freely smudge it all around. This tool will now enable me to make some areas a little smaller. Like, let's say we want to make his nose a little smaller. This one just lets me kind of shove things around. I'm going to shove in the chin a little bit. Again, since I did this on the fly with like no sketch or looking at no preliminary stuff, I kind of just had some problems that I think I just fixed. So, after fixing, before fixing, that looks really weird, but that looks better. There's a nice stylization that way, but I still don't like what's going on here, so I'm going to take one more crack at it. go with a bigger brush. Smaller brush. Now he's more scowling and frowning than he was originally. That's okay. Don't like that chin, so I'm gonna scoot that in a little bit too. Give him a little bit more of a jaw. Okay. But you see how drastically you can change something if you wanna. I'll save this as version 2. Oops. Of course, it'd help if I saved the one that I corrected. I still don't like it a whole bunch, but just to show you what you could do with Liquify quickly. Save as Untitled 2A, we'll call it, so you can find it on the CD. Alrighty.